Chapter 189, 4-Realm Fighting Genius. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. The speed that Zhang Yuochen demonstrated earlier was at least 76 meters per second. Chen Xia's eyes immediately lit up with excitement. Her long and curling eyelashes slightly trembled. If he could achieve such a high speed in the Black Realm, what would happen once he broke into the Earth Realm? I didn't expect my elder cousin to have such an outstanding fiancé. Judging from Zhang Yuochen's talent, perhaps he can reach the Heaven Realm before turning 30. If so, he might have the opportunity to become a half-saint. Chen Xia gently pressed her lips together and revealed a cunning smile. She said, "My elder cousin, don't blame me for being too greedy. I can't help it. My brother-in-law is too outstanding." He. She had already made up her mind to steal Zhang Yuochen from Huang Yanjun. Not to mention that Huang Yanjun was having a misunderstanding with Zhang Yuochen now. This was definitely the best opportunity. Within moments, Zhang Yuochen and Yue Qianfan had already exchanged more than 10 moves in a row. Their fist technique and palm technique were all incredibly fast, and their speed was equally matched. It was a close race. Yue Qianfan's fist technique was tough and fierce. Every blow had the power of crushing a stone. The wind carried by his fist could chop down a big tree, whose trunk was as thick as the opening of a bowl in 10 meters away. Judging from Zhang Yuochen's current state of cultivation, if he was hit by Yue Qianfan's fist, even if he did not die, he would still suffer serious injuries. Spirit conquering mountains and rivers. Yue Qianfan unleashed Chi holding palm, a low class of spiritual fist technique. It made his arm resemble a dragon. His genuine Chi surged out from his fist and hit Zhang Yuochen in the face. Dragon and elephant ninefold. Zhang Yuochen simply had no way to dodge it. He could only fight head-on. Unleashing 5 palms. The 5 palm prints of Zhang Yuochen overlapped and merged together to release 5 times the power. It collided head-on with Yue Qianfan's fist technique. Boom! Both Zhang Yuochen and Yue Qianfan were sent flying backward by the great force at the same time. Yue Qianfan could only feel the burning sensation that came from his arm. Half of his body went numb. Even the genuine Chi in his body could not flow smoothly. How could a warrior of the Black Realm be so powerful? Normally, fighting with someone who was 1 realm higher was considered quite a feat. Their warrior could be regarded as the 1-realm fighting genius. In the internal academy of the School of the Martial Market, there were some warriors who could fight with people from 2 realms higher, such as Xungihai and Chen Xia. Geniuses like them were known as the 2-realm fighting genius. Warriors who could fight with people from 3 realms higher were extremely rare. Only the 10 prodigies of the Omen Ridge could do that, and they were given the title of 3-realm fighting genius. In most cases, the 3-realm fighting genius would get into the top 10 of the profound board when they reached the Black Realm. For example, Huang Yanchen and Duan Muxingling were basically between the levels of 2-realm fighting genius and 3-realm fighting genius. If they were lucky enough, there would be an opportunity for them to become 3-realm fighting genius. But Zhang Yuochen was fighting against people who were 4 realms higher than him. Could it be possible that his talent had surpassed the 10 prodigies of the Omen Ridge, reaching the level of 4-realm fighting genius? Zhuo Lengxuan, who was standing and watching closely from the side, was pretty shocked too. He had never expected that Zhang Yuochen could get this far in the battle. According to his speculation, with Yue Qianfan's cultivation, he could totally beat Zhang Yuochen within 3 moves. Zhang Yuochen is really powerful. He must be a 3-realm fighting genius, or perhaps reaching the level of a 4-realm fighting genius. Damn. Could it be that junior sister apprentice Chen fancied him for his talent and potential, and thus, she chose to stay close to him? Feeling threatened, a strong sense of crisis arose in Zhuo Lengxuan's heart. If they were not in the School of the Martial Market, he would have killed Zhang Yuochen to spare himself any future troubles. I refuse to believe that he'd be so powerful. Clenching his teeth, Yue Qianfan summoned all his genuine Chi to swirl around him, forming a huge vortex of genuine Chi. Shocking the world. The moment Yue Qianfan struck out a fist, the genuine Chi vortex surged forward as well. A huge shadow of the fist appeared in the vortex, letting out a roar that echoed like a behemoth's howling. Zhang Yuochen did not want to drag on the fight with Yue Qianfan any longer. He stretched out his arms, and tons of fallen leaves on the ground flew up to float around him. Surrounded by genuine chi, the leaves became extremely sharp. They began to rotate at a high speed. Break. The moment Zhang Yuochen shoved his palms forward, hundreds of thousands of leaves immediately flew toward Yue Qianfan like flying raindrops. Boom! The shadow of the fist was broken. The vortex swirling around Yue Qianfan was shattered in a flash. Those leaves pierced into his body, leaving dozens of bloody gashes. The powerful impact sent him flying off to the side and landed on the ground tens of meters away. Yue Qianfan's body trembled violently from the extreme pain, and he let out a miserable shriek. How dare you to injure an internal student? Zhang Yuochen, you really have some balls. I'll destroy your cultivation. Zhuo Lengxuan finally found an excuse to take action. He flashed into motion at his top speed and then stabbed his finger toward the sacred meridian on Zhang Yuochen's back. If his sacred meridian was shattered, then his cultivation would be completely ruined. He would not be able to practice anymore. Zhang Yuochen felt a sensation of unprecedented crisis. The chi that streamed from Zhuo Lengxuan's fingertip seemed powerful enough to pierce through his body. Such a terrifying power. A cold sweat broke out on Zhang Yuochen's back. He quickly increased his speed to the limit. Zhuo Lengxuan's martial cultivation had reached the final state of the Earth Realm. On top of that, he was a one-realm fighting genius. Even an ordinary warrior at the completion of the Earth Realm could not be his opponent. In an instant, his finger had reached Zhang Yuochen's back. Anyone could tell the outcome of a fight between a warrior at the final state of the Earth Realm and a warrior at the completion of the Black Realm. It was a predictable battle with no suspense. Haha. Zhang Yuochen, once your martial cultivation is destroyed, junior sister apprentice Chen surely won't spare you another glance. Zhuo Lengxuan was very confident in his own attack. He could easily crush an external student of the school at the completion of the Black Realm with one finger. Just when Zhang Yuochen's sacred meridian was about to be shattered by Zhuo Lengxuan, suddenly, the air behind him transformed into a water curtain with ripples. The space was distorted. Zhuo Lengxuan's finger slightly shifted in direction, and ended up hitting Zhang Yuochen's left shoulder. Puff. Zhang Yuochen immediately felt a sharp pain on his left shoulder. Not long after, blood could be seen gushing out from the wound. The blood hole was the result of Zhuo Lengxuan's powerful air carried by his finger. Zhang Yuochen clenched his teeth and flew forward, retreating to a distance of 10 feet away from Zhuo Lengxuan. That was close. Luckily, I've used the space domain to direct his finger away from the vital part. Otherwise, a single move from him is enough to make me lose all my cultivation. Zhang Yuochen glared at Zhuo Lengxuan with a cold look and said, Junior brother apprentice Zhuo, aren't you a well-known figure in the internal academy? How can you pick a fight with me, an external student of the school? Zhuo Lengxuan withdrew his finger and felt quite surprised. His finger attack should have made Zhang Yuochen lose his cultivation. How did he escape from that? Perhaps he had practiced some kind of martial techniques that could shift his form and position. He did not believe that Zhang Yuochen could distort space. So, he did not think of the possibility at all. He said, Zhang Yuochen, you've hurt an internal student, which is akin to committing a fratricide. Shouldn't that be enough of a reason for me to take action and destroy your cultivation? Just when Zhuo Lengxuan was ready to make his next move, the beautiful shadow of Chen Xie could be seen coming from a distance. She shouted at Zhuo Lengxuan and said, Zhuo Lengxuan, you're an internal disciple. Don't you feel ashamed for attacking an external student of the school? Upon seeing Chen Xie, Zhuo Lengxuan could do nothing but to withdraw his genuine chi. He replied, Junior sister apprentice Chen, it was Zhang Yuochen who had injured junior fellow apprentice Yue first. I have no choice but to teach him a lesson. Chen Xie flew to Zhang Yuochen's side and stopped there. She straightened her back and said in a cold voice, Yue Qianfan is at the advanced stage of the Earth Realm while Zhang Yuochen is just an external student of the school. How can he hurt Yue Qianfan? Besides, even if Zhang Yuochen did hurt him, He can't blame anyone but himself for being weak. Being defeated by an external student, he'd made us lose our faces as an internal disciple. How embarrassing is that? The fact that Chen Xie was defending Zhang Yuochen had truly enraged Zhuo Lengxuan. He clenched his fists, wanting to tear Zhang Yuochen into pieces. But he had to restrain himself. He gritted his teeth and said, "You're absolutely right, Junior Sister Apprentice Chen. I'm too reckless this time. Let's go." With that, Zhao Minggong helped the severely injured Yu Qianfan to his feet, followed Zhuo Lengxuan and left the place. After they had left, Chen Xie immediately supported Zhang Yuochen by the arm. She said with a voice filled with concern, "Junior fellow apprentice Zhang, are you alright? It's just a minor injury. Not a big deal." Zhang Yuochen smiled and shook his head. Then, he added on and said, "Senior Sister Apprentice Chen, didn't you leave for something? Why did you come back? I heard that Zhuo Lengxuan wanted to pick a fight with you, so I came back right away. I'm afraid that he'll do something bad to you. Luckily, I've arrived just in time. I can't imagine what will happen if I'm late." Chen Xie said, "Thank you again, Senior Sister Apprentice Chen. I owe you a favor for this." Zhang Yuochen said. If Chen Xie did not come back in time, Zhang Yuochen was absolutely no match for Zhuo Lengxuan with his current state of cultivation. His chance of escape was very slim as well. Of course, Zhang Yuochen did have a way to keep himself alive. He could hide in the time and space spine if necessary. However, that was his last resort. He did not want to expose his time and space spine. Chen Xie was very pleased. If Zhang Yuochen owed her a favor, there was no way for him to escape from her in the future. Taking out a small jade bottle, Chen Xie poured out a cyan-colored pill and picked up the pill with two slender white fingers. She said, "This is a fourth-class healing pill, known as muscle-growing pill. You have to take it now." Fourth-class healing pill. Zhang Yuochen shook his head and said, "My injury is not that serious. It's a waste to take a fourth-class healing pill. I have other healing pills with me." A fourth-class healing pill worth more than 100,000 silver coins. This was not a small sum of money. Zhang Yuochen did not want to owe her another favor. Chen Xie glared at him with her almond eyes. With a hint of displeasure, she said, "Isn't Junior Fellow Apprentice going to practice in the Mount Saint Crossing? You'd better recover from your injury as fast as you can. If you take this muscle-growing pill, you'll recover in 2 hours." Since she put it that way, Zhang Yuochen could not refuse anymore. He laughed bitterly and said, "All right, I'll take it on my own." Shaking her head, Chen Xie brought the pill to Zhang Yuochen's lips. She wanted to feed Zhang Yuochen herself. Zhang Yuochen had never been previously treated with such care and concern, let alone having someone who would take the initiative to feed him pills. In the end, he still took the pill that was held by Chen Xie's fingers. Then, he stood there and quickly refined the pill with his eyes closed. Meanwhile, in the distance, behind a maple. This is bad. Huang Yanshen's cousin apparently wants to claim Zhang Yuochen as her own. Stealing her elder cousin's fiancé, that woman is really something. Blackie said. Juan Muxingling rushed over at her top speed. Seeing the intimacy between Zhang Yuochen and Chen Xie, she slightly frowned and said, "With Zhang Yuochen's talent, it's not surprised to see many girls having a crush on him. However, Chen Xie is the daughter of the palace master, and thus, her status is way higher than the rest of us. She obviously has better choices. Why does she pursue him instead? There's only one possibility. That is to say, she wants to take Huang Yanshen's fiancé away on purpose." Blackie laughed and continued to say, "If I were Zhang Yuochen, I'll accept her. It'd be silly to reject something that is sent straight to my doorstep." Blackie had a good relationship with Juan Muxingling. Seeing that Zhang Yuochen was in danger, it immediately informed Juan Muxingling. Therefore, they witnessed the scene from earlier. "You're just a cat. Why do you have such disgusting thoughts?" Juan Muxingling rolled her eyes. She grabbed Blackie by its ears and dragged it away, heading to the secret palace where Huang Yanshen practiced. She thought it was necessary to tell Huang Yanshen. After all, she hated Chen Xie a lot too.